bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition.
Welcome back. Local government councillors in the city of Freeport District getting down to the business of the people. Elections were held over a month ago, and Chief Councillor Shavita Campbell says the first order of business was to make a complete assessment of the council's assets. On Saturday, councillors visited several locations to conduct the assessment.
We are on a tour, reviewing and viewing our assets that we are, one, accountable for to the people to make sure that we keep, maintain, and upgrade, along with other private projects that we would like to embark on.
Campbell says among those assets are parks and bus stops. Councillor for Central Grand Bahama, Marco Carey, who has responsibility for works, talks about their findings.
Recently, we just had a tender went out for all the cleaning of the parks, so we're just getting a feel for all the different parks and stuff and what we need to be done. So when the tenders do come to the table, all the councillors could be familiarized with all the different parks and the bids and everything. And what we find on the parks recently is it needs to be upgraded, because these parks haven't been upgraded for a very long time. So as the new councillors come in, we will bring it to the table to move motions to upgrade stuff and in different communities and stuff.
There are new developments in a local housing subdivision as the local government city of Freeport District takes measures to keep communities safer. Officials say it is all in an effort to build a safer community in the Wellington-Pinder Heights subdivision. 9 speed bumps were recently installed throughout that residential area near Hawksville. City of Freeport Councillor for Central Grand Bahama, Fraser Gibson, spearheaded the safety campaign in conjunction with the Grand Bahama Port Authority.
Prior to the local government elections, the concerns of the residents were to have speed bumps placed throughout the community, because there are about at least 60 to 80 children on a normal basis that play within the streets of this area, alongside and inside their yards. And so I thought it was necessary, and I formed a partnership with the Grand Bahama Port Authority. And I want to thank the city manager who assisted in placing down these bumps for the residents of Wellington Heights. So we have about 90% of the residents who was for the speed bumps, and then there's a little minor 10% of the persons who were not interested in having the bumps throughout Wellington. And so the majority rule on this one. And so it's for safer communities, and so that the persons who are driving vehicles could slow down.
But not everyone is happy about the speed bumps. Berthelyn Culmer frequents the small community to visit her daughter, and she says while the objective is to make the area safer, she finds the speed bumps to be a nuisance.
Speed bumps in this area, I believe, is too much for a small community like this. What the parents need to do is keep some of these small children out of the street. The road ain't no place for them to play in. You try to pass sometimes, they wouldn't even move on the side for you to pass. You have to stop and wait for them to move at their own pace. I think it's ridiculous. All these speed bumps through this corner is not necessary. Growing up as a child, we were not allowed to play in the street. Our yard is big enough for us to play in. You go to the neighbor, you play in the neighbor yard. The street is not a place to play in.
Meanwhile, Gibson says there are other plans on the drawing board for the Wellington-Pinder Heights subdivision, among them a public playground.
I've done further research to see that there's a green space available for a park, and so I intend to partner with the Member of Parliament for Central Grand Bahama, Mr. Nico Grant, in making sure that this park come about for the young people of Wellington Heights. I've already started discussions with the Ministry of Housing, who is responsible for the green space in this area. And so it's only a matter of time before things come together, and then the residents will see development happening with the park.
A non-profit organization on Grand Bahama is working to empower residents and create new entrepreneurs. We get more in this report.
When you want your country to do better, you got to do better. If you want a better house, you got to do better. You want a better community, you got to do better.
Founder of the Enough movement, Kendall Colebrook, says the organization is preparing to launch a community initiative that will be the first of its kind on the island. The program will take the form of a community center, but Colebrook says it will be much more.
This center will now employ the young men in the community. We will take care of each house, each individual in our community. They will be licensed under the Grand Bahama Port Authority. They will be able to get a bond. They will be able to build their houses bonded, get their vehicles bonded. We will be able to now take care of the community.
He outlines how this new venture will further empower residents.
Say we have a plumber in that community. He will be responsible for every house in the community. We have a carpenter. He will be responsible for every house in that community. We have a fisherman. He will be responsible for supplying fish in that community. We have someone to do the lawn and garden. He will be responsible, and his team. We will actually put them in uniform, give them their business cards.
The community activist says this initiative is similar to a Jump Start program.
So, for instance, for a plumber, this is a jump start for you. So that now you would be accumulated enough monies, enough funds to go ahead and branch off onto your own. So now you can go out of the community and broaden your base a bit. But it's going to be professionally done. We have a lot of people on our team that are actually spearheading this. We will be stepping out and asking the Corporate Bahamas to help us with this initiative. We don't just want this to be in Hawksbill. We want this to branch off into other communities.
There are about 500 residents living in the Hawksbill community. It's been a part of the West End community for some 4 years now, and it is making a name for itself throughout Grand Bahama. Tonight, the owner of a popular eatery talks about why people travel to the West for some of the best Bahamian dishes. Shashina Roll has that story.
The fish is extremely good. The banana pancake is one of the best on the island. The conch fritters is extremely conch fritters. Can't get it nowhere else other than here.
Her name is Lachey Colton, and she is synonymous with good down-home food in West End. She boasts that once you get a taste of her cooking, you have to come back. Colton is a full-time entrepreneur at a hotel in West End, but her passion for the kitchen resulted in her creating a restaurant.
I was home, and I said, I'm tired sitting home doing nothing. Instead of me going out partying, I could go out and make some money. So I decided to come out and do my little thing on the side.
Oh, what was the reception like?
Well, at first it was slow, and then when people caught on, it started to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. Every week it get bigger and bigger.
She says persons take the drive from near and far on the weekends to come to West End, the home of hospitality.
Good food and the atmosphere mostly. People just love driving out to West End, and they like the good fish, conch fritters, conch salad, and, they just like the atmosphere. That's the drive.
But she says many people come to Triple Play for her special pepper sauces that are created from scratch, which are placed on the deep-fried fish. But perhaps the love of her banana pancake is what keeps people coming back. Some even call it the best in the West.
It's basically flour, sugar, banana, and other little secret ingredients that you put in it.
You want to share your secret with us?
No, ma'am. That's what people keep coming back.
Shashina Roll, ZNS Network News.